From the Cleveland Indians, shortstop Omar Vizquel.
Exactly right. A productive strikeout.
That's right. You always talk about productive outs. That was productive.
Sure. Absolutely.
He at least got the count full, and now a hit by Vizquel and/or Garrett Anderson to tie this game. It's about at this time that these managers will start to sweat.
Yeah.
Thinking of the prospects of being tied after 9 innings. The National League is keeping Padilla available as a long reliever. The American League has Freddie Garcia along with 2 others, Urbina and Rivera. That's down into the right field corner. That is trouble. It gets down fair. The tying run scores. Vizquel will cruise into third base. He's the go-ahead run, and it's 7-7 here in the 8th. Vizquel, one of the 5 shortstops that Joe Torre brought with him, playing second base, taking over for Soriano, ties it with an RBI triple.
I think Sean Green thought that this ball might go out of the ballpark. The American League catches a break. That it didn't hop over the fence, but stayed playable.
Bottom part of the order, and then back to the top. Vizquel, Anderson, then the pitcher, Freddie Garcia. The last run that scored in this game was knocked home by Omar Vizquel with his triple. That scored Fick and tied the game at 7 back in the 8th inning. A little up and away. 2 balls and a strike. Vizquel 1 for 2 since entering back in the 5th. Now it's 3-1. Omar Vizquel, part of the international flavor that this all-star game brings with it. And high and tight for a leadoff walk. Some of those international players that
Pitcher, Huguet Urbina.
He showed up in Milwaukee, and we've got a game. 7-7 into the bottom of the 8th inning. National League batting, and Andrew Jones first up against Huguet Urbina, longtime National Leaguer. Now with Boston. Strike 1. The Andrew Jones. Then Jose Hernandez. Then Luis Castillo of the Florida Marlins against Urbina. Mike Sweeney takes over at first base. Robert Fick is in the game in right field. Sweeney will bat 4th. Urbina first, and Fick obviously will stay in that 6th spot. 1 ball, 1 strike from Urbina, who early in the season, Tim, was throwing 89, maybe 90, and now he's getting it up there in the mid to upper 90s.
That's common with guys who have had shoulder operations. It takes a while for them to come back. Andrew Jones certainly familiar with Urbina. He faced him when Urbina was with the Montreal Expos.
Urbina has filled a void for the Red Sox, taking over as their closer. Batista to his left. High throw, but out. One away here in the bottom of the 8th. The game tied 7-7 this week. Both pitchers, by the way, are now batting in the number 1 spot. We play here in the 8th inning. An interesting little aside as Hernandez fouls away strike 1.
Think of the first All-Star game played in this city at County Stadium back in 1955. It was won on a home run by Stan Musial in the bottom of the 12th inning.
The 0-1 to Hernandez. Too much upstairs, and it's 0-2.
Joe, the reason I brought that up was that if you look at the high fastball, he blows it by Hernandez. A fellow with the Fourth Estate was doing a survey today with the passing of Ted Williams, asking those around the game who was the best living hitter since Ted had passed. I'm sure you'll get a lot of different answers, but my answer was Stan Musial. Henry Aaron and Willie Mays with the home runs. Willie Mays, the best player I've ever seen, but as far as putting the fat part of the bat on the ball consistently, as you see Stan Musial's game-ending home run in the bottom of the 12th inning, I think Stan was the best and may have been the greatest low ball hitter in the history of the game.
And Bill Madlock winning the next All-Star game to be played here in 1975. Bill Madlock is actually here, joined the festivities in Milwaukee with 2 out, nobody on. Luis Castillo, who had a 35-game hitting streak early in the season and uses that tremendous speed that he has to his advantage, bouncing the ball on the ground, dropping down bunts, slapping at the ball. He doesn't have a pretty swing, but he just puts ash to agate and then starts to run. 2-0.
If he puts ash to agate on the ground, he can fly. 18 infield hits during that hitting streak of 35 games.
Urbina's taking care of the first 2. There's that odd swing that Castillo has. It really doesn't look like a major league swing as he's kind of exiting the batter's box, getting a head start to first and just flailing at the ball, but boy, it's effective.
It's similar to Ichiro's swing with not quite the strength that Suzuki has.
On 2-1, Urbina. That's what pitchers try to get Castillo to do, hit the ball in the air. And Urbina has a perfect 8th inning in this game. The 73rd All-Star game in Milwaukee will head to the 9th inning with the team's
Pitcher Freddie Garcia.
For Joe Torre and the American League. Bob Brenly's down in the dugout. Bob, at this point, you've used everybody. You can pretty much go home.
No reason to look at the scorecard anymore, I guess.
No, it's over. I mean, you just let them play, right? May the best team win.
Well, you know, obviously the concern is if we have to extend either Garcia or Padilla very long, both starting pitchers, but we don't want to run these guys out there in this situation any longer than we have to.
Lou Piniella and Larry Boa don't have your cell phone number, right?
Yeah, I hope not.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Adam Dunn. He could end it. Tried to. 2 balls and a strike. Nine extra inning games, Bob Brenly, in history, and the National League has won all 9 of them. As Dunn takes ball 3. That's hard to believe.
I did not know that. Great graphic.
He's a little tight, but he's going another one. So he's okay.
Talking about Padilla down in the dugout as Dunn hits it to center. Back at the wall. The park will hold it. Bob Brenly thought the National League had made it 10-0 in the 10 extra inning games in the All-Star game, and that's just a long, loud out. What'd you think, Bob? You think he had it?
No, I was just hoping he had it, but that's a long way out there to center field, especially as the air gets cooler in here. But Adam Dunn's a big old country boy. He can hit him a long way.
Oh, yeah. Now you've got Sean Green. Well, who else would you rather have at the plate than Green, who has had a season's worth of home runs at this ballpark? For some guys, he had that incredible game with the 4 home runs here at Miller Park in Milwaukee. Seems to see the ball well here in the count 1 ball 1 strike.
After the great series he had here, Joe, he came to our place and continued to hit home runs.
Well, what does he get from Freddie Garcia with a 1 ball 1 strike count? Right back up the middle. And Garcia's happy that that ball missed him. There's the winning run at first with 1 out here in the 10th inning.
Right back through the wickets of Freddie Garcia. Hey, you brought up Lou Piniella's name, and Lou Piniella's name should be brought up. If you're Lou Piniella right now, you're concerned if this game goes too much longer with your ace on the mound, and the Seattle Mariners only 3 games ahead of the Anaheim Angels.
1 on, 1 out. And Andrew Jones hacking at the first pitch. Hey, Bob, do you get a sense for how long you will go? I mean, I know you're not going to push Padilla to the point where you risk injury or it affects him in the second half, right?
Well, I mean, I would think 3 innings would probably be the absolute maximum we'd even think about running him out there, and only that because he had a fairly low pitch count in his first inning.
1 ball, 1 strike on Andrew Jones, who could make this conversation, these points, moot if he could connect or help the National League put a rally together. The hometowner, Jose Hernandez, on deck. 2 balls and a strike for a guy who is, at least lately, not used to coming out of the bullpen, Freddie Garcia. There have been 4 walk-off home runs in All-Star Game history. 3, 4 if there's one tonight. Williams in 41 in Detroit. Musial in 55 that Tim talked about. And Johnny Callison in 64 at Shea. First year of Shea Stadium. Somebody do it tonight. 3 balls and a strike. Jones would like to be the guy. Full count. Will Green take off here with a full count, Bob Brenly? Bob, can you hear us?
Yeah. No.
No?
Nah, we're going to let Jose Hernandez win it.
Okay.
Hometown guy. Good story.
So Green will stay put.
Unless he wants to run. There he goes.
There he goes. And the throw down. Green is safe. I guess I wasn't kidding when I said you could go home. So Green running. He steals second, and now a hit could win it. And this crowd wants to see, as Bob Brenly said a moment ago, Jose Hernandez win it for the National League. Ball 1 to Hernandez with Castillo on deck. Jose Hernandez, 40 RBIs in the first half and a .287 average. Tonight 0 for 2. Left side for Batista. Good play to his left. This game will go to the 11th. So we play at least one more here in Milwaukee. So he is not without a chance.
Have we gotten our form back, by the way?
Our form is gone.
Damian Miller.
Damian Miller, I remember him playing in the game. And I voted for him for MVP. Vizquel at second, 1 out. Freddie Garcia checks on Hernandez. Tough little play. Good play. 2 out. And the go-ahead run. He says, let's go.
Yeah, right.
What is the decision? Why should it take this long?
Number 1, the decision doesn't have to be reached yet. We still have at least a half an inning to play.
Freddie Garcia's out there like, come on. But they're still discussing this. And your point is the best. It's the bottom of the 11th. It's not the end of the 11th. Garcia's ready to pitch. The National League can win it. They've got Castillo, Lowell, Miller coming up. Actually, Padilla. Make the decision at the end of the half inning.
Right. Seems to me by delaying right now, all you do is muddle the situation. And Freddie Garcia, one thing starting pitchers, or any pitcher for that matter, doesn't want to do is wait out there.
Crowd reacting, wondering what the delay is. And I think everybody can accept that if the National League doesn't score a run, it's a 7-7 tie. But he'll get over it. Sun will come up tomorrow. Bet you bottom dollar on that. But that monumental decision has been made, we believe.
Look at this.
And Garcia threw, and Castillo wasn't ready to hit.
Castillo was looking down then. Garcia delivered the ball. It was a strike.
1 ball, 1 strike. So Garcia, by all indications, is trying to end this game in a tie while the National League tries to win it. From what we understand, there won't be any more baseball played after this 11th. And I can't blame Bob Brenly at all for feeling that way about Padilla, or Joe Torre feeling that way about Freddie Garcia. We may end up matched up against potentially in the upcoming playoffs. That's into center field off the bat of Castillo. Into the glove of Johnny Damon, 1 out.
Decided that the game will end in a tie if a run is not scored this inning.
Well, Mike Lowell, it's all on your shoulders right now as they make the announcement. And Bud Selig is in the position of having to sit in the front row while this crowd reacts behind him. Lowell gets on with a base hit. And again, if the National League scores a run, that announcement and the decision that happened between the top and the bottom half of the 11th would be irrelevant.
So with that in mind, why make the announcement?
Now Vicente Padilla will step in.
You save yourself if the National League scores and you don't make the announcement. You save yourself the boos that are currently taking place here.
How ironic that Bud Selig, the commissioner of baseball, gets the All-Star game here to Milwaukee, and because it's a 7-7 game in the 11th inning and it may end tied, it may, gets booed here at Miller Park. No balls, 2 strikes as Padilla tries to get a bunt down to get Lowell into scoring position for Benito Santiago. On 0-2, Padilla showed bunt, took a hack. Just another entry on a long list of things happening in the game of baseball. In a celebration, Midsummer Classic, you could have controversy. That gets away, and now the winning run is at second base with 1 out. And Padilla can take his swings. Benito Santiago, it appears, will get a chance. He's on deck.
Lowell, an alert job of going to second base. Because of that announcement, in my view, this game is all of a sudden taking on the view of playing the game in your backyard. Officialdom has gone.
Padilla strikes out, and it's going to be up to Benito Santiago. They wanted to prepare the crowd, and they gave this crowd a chance to react and show their displeasure with the decision that either a run or an out will end this night of baseball, either in a victory for the National League or in a tie game. There will be no 12th inning. Santiago could end it in favor of the National League, and again, it's been 10 years since Benito Santiago's been an All-Star. He singled in his first at bat. If he does it here, he could win it for the National League. 1 ball, 1 strike. We hope to hear from the commissioner at the end of this game. Everybody right now in the world of baseball, a Benito Santiago fan. Santiago offered at that pitch, and this game could be down to its final pitch, final strike. And like a scene from Bad News Bears in breaking training, the crowd yelling, "Let them play." Bob Watson is here. He was the one that uttered the line in the movie. Santiago lays off 2-2. An awkward and unfortunate moment after that announcement.
So much for the crowd understanding the pitchers in the game. We both thought that there would be more understanding.
Garcia with a 2-2 pitch to Santiago. Game over. And this game will end in a 7-7 tie. We'll take a break and come back with much, much more. This game ends in a 7-7 tie after 11.